there's no need for it. It's really just focus and attention problem, right?
Totally.
At that
saying.
level. Yeah.
Let's
I mean, I'm telling you what, if I've got a Lexus store in my group, I'm going and visiting that thing like tomorrow. For sure.
No doubt. Let's talk about Hendrick. You have some data here on why they're outperforming Asbury on 6 out of 8 key topics.
This is actually going to be my moment to kind of poke you guys, because we look from the outside and say, look, we've collected all the reviews. We've done this for a few groups and manufacturers as sort of side projects, but it sort of blew my mind a little bit to see such dominance across all of these categories. Certainly on the positive side, it looks like Asbury's doing a great job of communication. On the negative review side, they're doing a good job on the management team. But to see Hendrick here beating them in 6 out of 8 categories, there's a tie in 2. What's going the question of what's going on is good for us to discuss. Is this process? Is it culture? What is it about Hendrick that creates this type of overperformance? Because certainly Asbury is a great group, right? Yep. But our customer is saying Hendrick just delivers a better customer experience.
Man, I know the Hendrick organization just a bit more than I do the Asbury organization. I know that they've, got a little bit more of a centralized philosophy for how they do business, where Asbury is as a public group is more decentralized. Mm-hmm. So I think you get some advantages out of that. And you see some of these 30 to 75 rooftop groups really starting to centralize experience, centralize training, centralize how they do business, why they do business the way they do it. You see Hendrick stores have Hendrick out front of them. You're at a Hendrick store, you're in a Hendrick experience. And I think, leaning into that as consolidation happens, I think allows you to have some of these wins across a group more consistently. But Hendrick also has a pretty strong marketing department that kind of leans into this type of interaction with the customer, I believe. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them as you are, but definitely very familiar with the way a lot of the publics operate versus a lot of the large independents. And I don't think you can give enough credence to the fact that a unified experience in brand from place to place to place, there's an accountability mechanism there that's naturally built in. Because if you have 2 stores that are owned by the same group but have different names on them, there is a lot less accountability. Hey, you're messing up our name. There's actually not that much care. But when the name is on the store, I think that there's always someone paying attention, realizing that somebody else is going to hear about it if this person, it's going to come back to me somehow. Mm-hmm. If I mistreat a customer, if I'm not paying attention, because the name's on the building, it's going to actually make its way across the street, or what they did right or wrong is going to make its way across the street to me at some point. So I think that's a great insight, Kyle. It's an accountability mechanism that I think naturally is going to raise the bar.
Yeah. What jumped out to me as I was looking at this data too is it appears, you mentioned training, Kyle, it appears that there is a Hendrick way of doing business when you see 27% more positivity around knowledge. The staff is really well trained, and then 20% less negativity on wait time. We care about our process. And that's got to be an executive team down thing. This is how we do it at Hendrick, and we're going to hold you to that standard.
Yep. That's awesome. Right. Absolutely. All right.
So what can people take away? What do we do now? Right. How do we make sure that this is a win for us as a dealership or dealer group?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned early on, Kyle, the fact that this data can help us shape our future.